G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we will be looking at the Badcube Slick. Had to remember the name for that for a minute, or otherwise known as Swerve, which this guy has a little bit of history with me. The character, the G1 version, that is. When I started really getting into these, into collecting figures, Badcube was one of the ones that I got into initially. Him, and I do have the Gears version, but I really wanted to get this guy. And considering Badcube is re-releasing these figures, I figured I'd do these ones in case anyone was curious. My thoughts, and why not? People are possibly looking out for these now. So here we are. We have him in his Jeep thing mode. I know little cars, but not much. He's not too bad. I will say there is a piece of the transformation that I have not done because personally I don't feel it necessary, and I will point that out when we get to it. So he does have an accessory, he has another face, but I've got that packed away and I don't feel like digging it out. So as for how he compares, there is them, and here is the reissue of G1 Swerve, and even better yet, there is G1 Swerve. I got this guy when I was about 3, so he is quite a number of years old. He was my very first Transformer I got. One of my grandparents bought it for me, and I have had him ever since. Considering how much damage all the figures that I've owned as a kid have gone through, apart from loose joints, he is pretty much spot on. So there we go. But as for a size comparison, and I do remember to do this time, here we have Windblade, and there she is next to Swerve, and she of course is wider than him. He is taller, and she's obviously longer because of the length of her nose. And we'll leave the other comparison till later. But he is alright, a bit nice transparent windows. I would have preferred black windows, honestly, but that's just me. He does look pretty good. He's got some yellow and red for lights at the back. He does have issues staying clipped together. He's more stable in robot mode than he is in vehicle mode, I'll say that much. And just underneath, obviously the Autobot logo does not come with this guy, and I think he was actually the first one I put labels on, and it's a bit wonky, but it is what it is. And to keep this together, because honestly his legs want to keep splitting, it is best to use the gun, which of course the handle actually makes a muffler. So there we go. So we'll get down to transformation. We'll unplug that. It just plugs in with these two holes into the side of the gun. Put that aside, and somewhere I'm not going to knock it. Alright, first things first, we're going to start with the legs and work a little bit backwards. So first things first, we're going to untab these wheels, which honestly feel like they partially stress the plastic, but not really. You're going to untab these to get them open. You can see how the legs are sitting inside. I'll go into more detail about that soon. Next, we're going to untab from here. As you can see, it's partially separated anyway. And that's going to pull out and pull up. So we'll try to get a nail in there. And just pull out. And that sort of flips up. So this piece here just slides into here. And of course you can untab the legs if they haven't already. And you can fold that back. And then what you want to do is you want to just straighten out. I'll just move that out of the way so we've got some clearance. And straighten that out. So when you transform this guy into vehicle mode, you want to see here, you want the knee joint to fold into here. Then you want to bring it as far to the top as you can. So just pull that forward, and we'll finish with this leg. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this piece out, which becomes the front of the foot. You're going to untab here. I point out, if you try to tab that in while this is back, you won't have the clearance for it. We'll also flip this piece in, flip that around, and like so, and then we're going to fold this sort of in on itself. It's a double hinge, so hinge here and hinge here. Now just sort of fold sideways to press on the side. We can then rotate the foot to the way it's supposed to go. We're going to bring this down, bring it around, and I'm trying to remember. All right, no, the other way. So you're going to rotate it on the inside, bring that around, and then you got this little tab here, which will go into this little hole here and keep that in together. Now, just push that a little bit further in. You can do with this what the gears does and flip the tire into here. But personally, the look for me when it comes to Swerve, the tire stays out. So there we go. And not that it saves a lot of time, but there we have 2 feet. Now you want to just sort of fiddle with the knees until you push them up against the shins. All right, next we're going to pull the chest piece down. Now, I'll show this here while I'm thinking of it. So if you look here, there's these little tabs. I'll move this one out of the way. There's a little port here. Well, these pieces here are supposed to rotate to a certain angle, go up and tab in, and I find them really annoying, so I don't do it. It eventually secures enough when you get everything else in place for it to be how you're supposed to get it. And we're just going to rotate that around and plug that into his chest, which will reveal his face. I think I might move the camera up just a little bit. He's a bit wonky, but that's okay. Alright, next what we're going to do is we're going to untab the back of the roof and just pull that out. It tabs in very well, like so. Now, we're getting into parts where when eventually I do the gears one, you'll start seeing differences. So first things first, we're going to rotate these pieces out. Now you might think, well, okay, the arms are on the way down, but we have these giant gaps, so that don't work. So you're going to rotate it so far, but then you want to sort of slide the arms up, and I'll do them on both sides because why not? And then that will fill out the sides of the body. And there is these little tabs which plug into the side, which so there we go. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come to the front, and this part's already partly done it. We're going to untab the hood, we're going to rotate it around, and we're going to sort of fit that in there, like so. And we're not quite finished with the back yet, so we'll leave that. But what we're going to do is we're going to slide these down. And of course, you can push the wheels back, and you can angle them how you wish. I wouldn't have mind if they were more set on the arms, but it's just the way that the design works. Then what you want to do is just fold this up till it just sort of sits in place, and we're almost done. We'll just lift up his ties for a moment. We'll come under here, fold down the actual back of the forearm, so it's actually one big piece. Flip out the hands, tab it into place. Doesn't really lock the hand in place, and we'll do it the other side as well. And there we go. And then of course you can position the tires how you want. You can have them higher up, so it looks like it's sitting on the side of the head if you want, but I just angle them over the shoulder. You can also pull them forward a little bit if you want more of it just sort of sitting over the arms. I usually just slide it back, just sort of sit there. So there we go. There we, whoop, I just undid his back. There we have Swerve in his robot mode. Get you a little bit better angle than that. Whoops, I won't do that again. And there we go. And he does look really nice. I will say, he does look really nice. And like I said, I am pretty happy that I got him, I got Gears, and as far as I'm concerned, him and Gears are the best when it comes to what they represent, the characters on third party so far. These are a little bit wibbly, but once you balance them, you're pretty right. As for articulation, his head can turn only so far because of the way it is. Can look up a little bit, can look down a little bit. As I said, you can replace the head, but I have the other heads elsewhere in storage. To use the shoulder twist, you're going to have to move the tire out of the way, but it will do a full 360, and he's kind of untabbed the sides anyway. It can go up that far. He has a single joint elbow, which gets you that far. He has no wrist rotation. You can go back and forwards if that's of any use to you, but it's just basically for transformation. He does have waist swivel, and he has bicep rotation, which just wants to set off the transformation. No ab crunch. I suppose if you take the backpack and disconnect it, you do get an ab crunch. And you just sort of fiddle that if you want. So there you go. And I think the same is for Gears. No hip flaps or anything, so legs go up only that far because of the way the hip is designed. It can go back way further, can go out that far. He has hip rotation, and I keep untabbing his legs. He does have technically a double jointed elbow, double jointed knee, so you can get pretty far, but things get stuck in the way. He has a ball joint for the foot, so he can have ankle tilt one way and the other. His foot can go way down because of transformation. It can go up a little bit, and you can even move the toe if you so wish. And there we go. And here, I will say one of the biggest problems with him and Gears is if you want to move him around a lot, he's going to become unstable and just want to fight you. But once you have him how you want to have him, that's all it matters. You don't need to get him in any other situation. So obviously the hands do not open, there's no fingers, everything's just dinged in. You can plug his gun in, so he is nice and armed up. And we'll just put him back here a little bit just for the final comparisons, which I can do a quick 5 seconds of these. I might do this. And the problem with the re-release, his knees are up in the back side and don't want to get into too well. I will do a video about the re-release figures, and he's actually a little bit darker, but then he could just be faded from time. So there is the reissue with the original G1. And if you're interested, I might end up doing a video on the re-release figures that I've got, not that I got many. Here he is with the Gears. I think they called him Grump. Like I said, transforms pretty much the same way. The head's different and the wheels are different. The legs are the same, chest is different shape, but we'll get into Gears when I get the Gears. And last but not least, here he is with MP10. So if you liked this video, please leave a comment, maybe a like, share if you really want to, maybe even hit that bell if you haven't already subscribed. I know there's 2 of you, so that's something, I guess. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.